Okay, our sound's working. Everything is going well. Let's hope it stays that way. I do want to remind everyone on here, this is about you, about whatever questions you want to ask us. We deal with real estate agents all day, every day, and sometimes it just becomes monotonous. That's what we do. But by you asking us questions, we're hoping we can help solve some struggles that you have in your real estate business currently, or things that you're looking to do in the future. I will kick this off with the first question a member just emailed me. She said, how do I completely customize my bio and my book forward? Carrie or Lana, how do we do that?
We can do it in a number of ways. You can do it yourself by logging into your book builder app. You can work off of a number of templates that are available for you, or simply start with a blank page and create your own bio. If you have a bio that you've created in the past that you're using on another website, whether that's Zillow or any other, Facebook business pages, anything like that, you can copy and paste it right into the book builder app. Your marketing success coach can help you create and build a new bio. I do that often for my members. We'll just sit on the phone and I'll ask them a few questions back and forth, and we'll create a bio within 5 minutes or so of being on that call, and add it in the book and get it published. So a number of different ways you can do that, either by yourself or with the assistance of us. Yep.
And I will mention one thing. When you're creating your bio, I would think about what things you can do and say differently. I mean, it's one thing to say, here's my accolades, here's my accomplishments, here's why you should listen to me. But a biography is really getting to know the person and build that trust and rapport. And that can be done really well in the bio for your book. Yes, the majority of the book is generic. It's about real estate. So it's really critical that you have a bio that really explains the why behind why did you get in real estate? What's your internal motives? Of course, we all need to make money. We all need money to live, and we want to be successful. But what's that internal desire to help people? That's what really connects with people, because even if they're not a real estate agent, and they're obviously not if they're hiring one, they're going to connect with you on more of a personal level, and then that's going to set the foundation to build on more of an educational level. So I would really encourage you to build out a bio and tell a story.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I have one member that I work with on a regular basis that has two versions of the same book. He's got one that's very personal, where he used the bio opportunity to write a letter to the reader. And then he's got one that's very professional that lists out his accolades. And so he has two different, same book, same content of the book, just two different bios. One that's more for kind of his sphere of, influence when it comes to like the personal kind of, family, friends, things like that, referrals, and then something much more professional that he hands out to as a business card. So I suggest being, different, coming up with different ways to write out your bio. I really love the idea of doing a letter to the reader. I think that's super unique and different. We have a question about that. Do you suggest we write a bio in our books, and what chapter, if so? Yes. I think that Joe kind of answered that. We do recommend doing so. You don't have to. You can choose to do a foreword or a biography. I personally love the personal touch of a biography. I think it really makes you much more an author. It makes that book a little more personal. It puts your kind of spin on it. So I love the idea of doing a biography. I think it's really important to do a biography. And I would put it towards the front of the book. I would do it prior to any of the chapters. I would do it as kind of an introduction, just as soon as they turn the first couple pages.
And you never know who's going to get their hands on that book too. Right. But that bio, the more that you say about you, and the right person gets it. And even if they just read that, if you can connect with them on that way.
Right.
It's a plus.
And I like the idea of putting the bio at the beginning of the book. That's where they're going to open up the book first, and they're going to read through. That's where they're going to connect. And then we also had a question earlier in the email about call to action. You can completely customize this as well, your call to action, which is at the end of the book. Also, your call to actions at the back of the book as well on the outside of the cover. It's your phone number and your website. So the more you personalize it, the more you make it yours, you're building your brand. Not everything is copy and paste. Make it personal.
Correct. And I'm going to answer this, even though I'm typing this out to Carol to answer her question. Her question is, my bio and some other items are not active. How do I make them active? In the Book Builder app on that Manage Sections page, which you may be familiar with, it separates it out into inactive and active sections. You can drag and drop any inactive section into the active section and then edit it, or you can keep them inactive and it'll just disappear from the book. You don't even have to have those sections in the book. So, for example, a foreword and a biography, some may think that those are two of the same. You can choose to do one, keep one active and edit that, and then choose to have one inactive and completely keep it out of the book altogether. So that's to answer Carol's question, and then I responded to you, Carol, as well, by typing out the answer for you.
And Sharon Roark, anyone who doesn't know who their marketing success coach is, you can just type that in there, and I'll be writing down your name, and then we can give you a call.
Yes, and so if you don't have a success coach or you don't know who your success coach is, just chat the box, and Lana or Carrie here will set you up with one, or give you a call themselves. I do see a question in here, and it's a question that we've been getting a lot, and I'm gonna raise it. When can we edit the entire book? We've been working on the software to get that to where you can edit the entire book, and we're not quite there. Carrie or Lana, has that been the buzz?
So the contents of the book, like the chapters themselves, are now editable. So yes, you can go in and you can edit page by page. If you're wanting to do customization, like to the cover itself, like the background of the cover, not just your headshot, that's also editable. However, you'll do that with your marketing success coach through kind of like the back edit with the editing team, because that's there's a custom charge for that. But as far as the contents of the book goes, you can go in now and edit the chapters themselves, page by page.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So we have that up and going. I know that was a big struggle for our programmers. I don't understand it. I just know I want people to be able to edit the entire content of the book.
Yes. Yeah.
So
they can do that now. And again, your marketing success coach can kind of walk you through this. And if you're having any technical issues, we can help.
Mm-hmm. And Maureen and Kristen, I don't know if I should call it out, but I'll be reaching out to you guys about who your marketing success coach is.
Perfect.
And then you could request where you want your bio. I know Kristen says, and I looked at her books, we're in the back of the book for bio. You can request to have your bio in the front. Some people like them in the back. I personally like my bio front and center because, I don't know, I live more of kind of an open book. I want people to get to know me, and in return, I get to know them. So I would, just let us know when you get your book set up that you want your bio in the front of the book.
Perfect. If we have cues, do we put them in the chat or the question and answer section? Either or.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I manage them both here. Okay, and then Kristen, they're going to reach out to you to find out who your success coach is.
Yep, got you written down.
And then you have Kristen Garnett, right? And then perfect. And then if you're joining us for the first time, I guess, since this is our second webinar. If you don't know what a marketing success coach is, for those of you who are just joining us, everybody who is a member has a marketing success coach. You may or may not have been introduced to them. You may or may not know that you have one or have been reached out to. If not, please type your name in the chat box, let us know, and then we'll reach out to you to make sure that you've been introduced to your marketing success coach. Your marketing success coach is kind of a hands-on guide throughout the entire Authorify process. So if you need help publishing your book, editing the contents of the book, editing, adding your headshot, or navigating the many resources available to you with your membership, whether it's the scripts or all the different platforms, that's your marketing success coach. They're your kind of one-stop shop here at Authorify. That way you if it's something as simple as changing the password on one of your accounts, you can, of course, call into support at any time to do that, but you can also reach out to your marketing success coach. We're kind of here to do a lot of that for you too.
We had a question come in here. Do you have different languages? Spanish.
To go over strategy.
Do we have Spanish books, Leanne? Or Leanne?
Lana? No, it's okay. Do we have Spanish books? I don't think that we do have a Spanish version. Not yet.
Mm-mm.
We're in the process. I know we have a right.
Process of
right.
That. We did just release the Canadian version.
We just released the Canadian version contents, but no, not Spanish yet, but I know that's something that we're working on doing.
Yeah, it's been in the pipeline because I've gotten a lot of requests for it. And the Spanish community is really close-knit. And you want to give them something that they can read. And that can, a lot of times, break down that barrier with the two different languages to make sure they understand what they're going into. And so that's something that will be coming out as well and will be accessible to our members. So if it's something that you think may add a new avenue of listings, in your market, I encourage you to stay up on that. What else do we have here?
Daniel. Yep, I got Daniel.
We got you, Daniel.
Got you, Maureen. It's amazing.
You guys are so helpful. It's amazing that you take the time to offer so much advice, ideas, etc. every week like this.
That's so nice.
I do quite a bit of marketing, and no one even comes close to your level and quality of service.
That's so nice.
I love you. I'm gonna totally snip that out. Can you open your? I'm gonna cut that out.
Yes, we're here to have candid conversations.
I love that.
Edited. So David
Severino.
We'll write your name down as well. Yeah.
I was trying to get books picked out and edited. Yeah, so that's another thing that your marketing success coach can help you do, is help you pick out the books, edit the books. So David, we'll reach out to you as soon as we wrap up here and make sure that you're well connected with your marketing success coach. And then Dan Mahoney, same thing. We'll make sure that we get you connected with your marketing success coach too.
I'm going to take Daniel's question here. He said, when sending out a book to an old expired, what would be your next move regarding follow-up? So whether it's a text, a phone call, a door knock, I would start a conversation, and it's not rocket science, about the book. Know the book. Know what's in the book. And so you can start a conversation about the book. What's the purpose of that versus just going for the juggler? All the other agents have already gone through for the juggler if it's an old expired. You want to start a conversation, build that trust, build that rapport, show that you care, and what better way than to do it around the book? Because the book talks about selling a home. And the expired book, it talks about specific pain points about selling a home that they've struggled with. And so I would encourage you to get a hold of someone you sent your book out to. If you're sending a book out and you're not following up, they're getting that wow factor when they see your book, but then it's stopping there. It's not cool being awesome when they see your book. You want to be the go-to expert that walks through the whole process and gets the listing.
Yep.
So just follow up. The one-liner I tell agents to use is, hey, did you get my book? What did you think about it? Mm-hmm. And sometimes as agents, we just need to shut up then. Let them talk. Pain through that little silent spot in the phone call that's going to be awkward. Let them gather their thoughts, and they'll start talking, because the more they're talking, the less we are, the more information we have.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes the book itself, just to kind of piggyback off of that, it does, like you said, it creates that wow factor, and then not everyone is going to be so inclined to reach out, but it makes a difference when you do make that contact with them, especially face-to-face. I have a member who campaigns with himself and his wife, and they actually stopped by someone's home and saw their book on the little entryway table when they first got to the door, and they'd already been talking to another agent. And he just said exactly what you said. Have you gotten my book? Did you have any questions? And they said, actually, we did get your book, and we've just been talking about it. And he ended up getting that listing, even though they had already spoken with another agent, just because the couple had the book, looked over it, thought it was cool, and then he was there in person to answer those questions, and used his charm and moved there from that point forward. But that he wouldn't have gotten that listing had he not come to the door, and it just worked out that the book was right there, and it created that that topic of conversation right there. So you're not just knocking on the door and just, hey, do you have a minute to listen to me speak? So helpful.
Right.
And Shannon's question there, she says, what if they say, I haven't read the book? So you call them up, you say, hey, did you read my book? And they say, no, I haven't read it. Well, then you just continue the conversation. Hey, it's a great read. It's only going to take you about 30 minutes, and there's a lot of helpful information in there.
Mm-hmm.
One agent was really smooth. He said, you know what? It's a perfect book to keep by your bed, to read before bed. It's a perfect, easy read. And he actually got a lot of home sellers who said, I did just that. I stuck it by my bed, and I read a little bit of it. And then when he called them, and then the point is, you want to talk to him again. So after you tell them it's going to be a good read, it's helpful information, it only takes 30 minutes to read, then say, hey, would you be offended if I followed up with you after you read the book? And so they're going to say no to a yes question. They're going to say, no, I won't be offended. Now you've continued that conversation. They've committed to having you respond back, and then you call back and they've read the book. Or if they haven't read the book, then I would say, you know what? Let's save some time. How about I stop by there and just show you?
There you go.
Because the face-to-face is what we want. We don't get listings online. We don't close the deal online. We got to get that face-to-face.
That's right. That's right. Maureen, I'm a brand new agent, totally green. Can they, Success Coach, help someone brand new to the industry? Of course.
Absolutely.
And we have your name on our list. You're the first one on our list. So we're going to call you as soon as we wrap up here.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing when you're a new agent. I mean, you're building essentially your brand.
Your brand.
So it's a great starting point, I think, no matter where you are in the process.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've picked up on with working with some of the newer agents is that consistency is the hardest thing for a new agent, because they really don't know which way to approach it and how to approach it. So consistency is key, especially when you're new. Consistency is key for any real estate agent, no matter how many years you've been in the business, but definitely when you're new. And so that's something that your marketing success coach can help you with.
And being a new agent, it can be intimidating. Because just like you said, there's so many options. There's so many things coming at you. And you want to learn, but you got to have success along the way. And what I would recommend is sticking with one thing, being consistent. So your book's a great tool for that. Tell your story. Don't be afraid to tell your story, even if you haven't sold 100 homes. Tell your story. Get reviews. You can get book reviews. You can send this out to your sphere of influence and say, hey, I'm working with some writers to create a book as a marketing piece. Can you review it? Can you give me a review? Then you can take those reviews and put them in your book. And so it's a book review. And then you can have character reviews as well, because character does matter. If someone's the smartest, brightest person and they have what you need, but you don't trust them, you're going to go find something else. So that trust is really important, and you can have that as a new agent, and you don't have to be intimidated by competing with agents who have 100 listings. And, I talk to a lot of agents, and they say, Joe, I never thought of that. I've never sent it out to my sphere. So with that said, I want to launch this quick poll and just answer the question, have you sent your book out to your sphere? Have you given it out to them to get feedback from? Because that's the first step as a new agent. Yet there's a lot of agents who have been in business for a long time still have not done that. Here's the trick. When it's about you, when it has your bio in it, you're going to feel more attached to it, more comfortable passing it out. Same thing when you those book reviews from your sphere, now they've become part of your brand. They've become marketing people that are going to go out there and market and be brand advocates for you. So you're doing more than just spreading your book out there. Now this book has a part of them in it, has a part of their story, and it's going to be a way more powerful process that's going to continue to keep giving as you grow your real estate business. Right now we're at 76% said no, they haven't given the book out to their sphere, and 5% or 23% said they have. So that's a huge opportunity right there. Pass the book out to your sphere. You can do an email list. You can do a hard letter list. You can do phone calls, Facebook shout outs. There's so many ways that you can give your book out to people and then really get them on your team, because that's what you want to do. I've talked to so many agents, they say, Joe, my best friend in college who lives up the road just listed with another agent because they didn't stay in touch with their sphere. Yeah. Great tool to stay in touch with your sphere of influence.
I've used primarily, Kristen, I have used primarily the listing buyer books, always carry them in my car, great, and hand out to my clients when appropriate, explaining the content to them, but giving them something, an opportunity to absorb it on their own time. It to date has been well received from everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. That's great feedback. And it kind of goes along with what Daniel asked, which is, do you recommend boosting any of the blog sites that we have? So the book, like the blog sites, are really meant to be an education piece, because you're not a pushy salesman, right? You're educating your clients in hopes that, and the goal is, and it works, is to link them right back to you, right? Because they're going to realize very quickly that they need you, and that they want an expert. They want somebody that wrote a book that knows what they're talking about, right? And so, Daniel, Kristen, thank you for the feedback. I think that what you're doing is perfect. It seems like it's working for you. And Daniel, I would recommend doing the same thing with the blog sites that you have, utilizing them as an education piece. You have them either on your email signature, post something on Facebook maybe once a week or every other week, offering the blog site as a tool for buyers or sellers alike, or whatever it is that your kind of niche is that you're focusing on. I hope that kind of helps you a little bit, and we'll write your name down, Daniel, and make sure that you get a strategy call from your marketing success coach too. That way we can kind of talk a little more about some of those ideas and how to boost your presence when it comes to social media and your websites, your blog sites, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have his name.
We provide tools. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
We provide tools for all that too, for social media, to kind of help with that.
That's right.
Now, what book would you recommend to your sphere? I think Frank asked this question. Now, this is the business card book. And this is a generic seller book. Perfect book to do just that, use in place of your business card. Something that you can pass out in person, in chamber events, coffee shops, set it out everywhere. Now, with all these books, I don't even have all of them here. I have a lot of them, though. It can be the same thing, where you're thinking, which one should I start with? All of them or none of them? What I would recommend is find your strength. Is that your sales pitch? I sell homes for more money. Home improvement book. Do you work with contractors? Are you an advertising guru? Inherited homes. Business card book, what we just looked at, for divorcing homeowners, vacant homes, first-time home buyers. I'm on a roll. Gonna make it rain. Find your dream home. Earning commissions. This is a for sale by owner book. For sale by owner guide. And then our expired books. Yeah, okay, I just blew your mind, and I apologize. But not really. I would encourage you to find out your niche and then start focusing on that. Build that bridge to where money's coming across. You have money coming in, and then add another piece to it. And this can be really challenging, because when there's so many options, a lot of times we do nothing. Or we have 10 bridges that are just partway built, and we're not making money. So choose your book according to what your strength is, what you believe is the easiest way for you to start getting listings.
Yep. We've got a couple questions coming in. Randy, is there some place to read the content of the book prior to getting the proof? Yes. So our website, authorify.com, has a preview of all of the books. I think it's like 30 or 40 pages, but your book builder app will have all the pages available. So when you're in your book builder app and you're building and editing your book, you can preview the entirety of the book there prior to receiving your proof, if you receive a proof, that is.
Brenda.
I think Brenda asked, I think I remember that the book will be available digitally. Is that right?
That's correct.
It is correct, depending on the type of membership that you're a part of. Our Authorify memberships, all 3 tiers of our Authorify membership have the digital book available with all memberships. If you're legacy or book leads members, it's a little bit different, but yes, for Authorify digital books, yes, every membership has a digital book for the Authorify platform.
And then Carol, will have your name written down to give you a call, as well as Donna.
Yep. And yep, Donna, we have your name. We answered those. Okay, what about over here? I handed a book to a client. Michael says, I handed a book to a client. He looked for an ISBN number, then asked if I actually wrote it. I said that I had it written for me, and it was a draft copy to see what he thought. Yeah, I mean, you can say that you worked with, you're paying for the licensing, the publishing rights. So you have the right to say that you wrote the book or that you worked with a team of writers. So I think that you probably handled that well.
And that's the thing. Most books aren't written by the actual writer. There's editors. And as a real estate agent, I always told people, you know what? I don't have time to write a book, but I want something that can give value to home sellers and home buyers and help guide them through the process. Because there's a lot of unknowns in real estate, and I know I can't talk to everyone. So this book is an avenue for me to really spread the knowledge that I have, that I share with other people. And to do that, I hired writers to help me put the book together.
And from
Kristen, maybe I missed it. I have the annual membership. Does that mean I automatically get the digital copies too, or is that a separate fee? You do with your annual membership. You also receive a digital copy. Kristen, we have your name down to get you in touch with your marketing success coach. So we'll make sure that they are ready to provide you with your digital book as well.
Randy says, I followed your system and put my 4 potential covers on Facebook and already have 6 people who want the books and 3 want help. Great. Sometimes it's some of the simplest things that we can do that get us that low-lying fruit. So great job, Randy. You did something that a lot of agents just overlook because there's so much coming at us as agents, not just in our day-to-day business, but offers and different things we can do to get listings. One thing that I heard someone doing, an agent, and this may be something for you Facebook people on here, you can really connect with other businesses in your market. Any business, a flower shop, a coffee shop. I like those personal local businesses. For example, you can do maybe a giveaway on Facebook. You could go into a coffee shop. Say I'm over here at Sarah's coffee shop, and I asked Sarah, hey, can I do a shout out for your coffee shop to my sphere? And I want to give you $20, maybe a $20 gift card. Then I could pull up my phone, nothing fancy. I can say, hey, I'm here at Sarah's coffee shop, the best brew that you will ever get in town. Great coffee. And I tell you what, the next 5 people who show up here, I want to buy you a cup of coffee and give you a copy of my book. So I'm leaving 5 copies of my book here on the table at Sarah's coffee shop. And when you come in here, the next 5 people, and mention my name, you'll get a free cup of coffee. This is a great way to connect not only with Sarah and her coffee shop, but your Facebook feed will go viral. You can even do it where you give out maybe a $20 gift card instead. And you say the next, for whoever likes and shares this comment, by 5 o'clock today, I'm going to choose a winner and I'm going to send you this card. And then you do a shout out for the gift card from the coffee shop. So there's a lot of ways that you can socialize on Facebook and have your book be the call to action. This is a gift. I couldn't tell you how many times I wish I would have come across that when I was looking to do something. Someone giving a book and maybe giving me a cup of coffee, and they're a local expert in the community. That's going to show you're local and you're the expert. You're the socializer because you're at these different businesses. And every time you're going to grow your sphere, because also Sarah's going to share that on her Facebook page and give a shout out to you to like and comment. And you could really explode your Facebook sphere of influence, the amount of books you have in circulation, and your really gravitas in your local community. It's simple. It's not rocket science. You don't have to have a professional camera. A phone works perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about how you look. We all, when I started doing video first, I was concerned that people were seeing this. And then I remembered people have been seeing this thing for a long time, and there's nothing to hide. And so video is a powerful way to get your message across.
Carol asks, after we publish a book, can we edit it later and republish it? Yes, you can. So your book builder app will keep the history of all of your ordered books. You can publish again, make changes that you need to your next order. Everything is saved, so we will always have the first headshot you ever provided us with, and any other after that, and your broker logo, things like that. So yes, you can absolutely edit it later, republish it. If you accidentally publish it right now and you realize that you made a mistake, shoot a message over to your marketing success coach. We can make any edits on the back side before we print and send out your book to you too. So that's what's so wonderful about everything being in-house. We don't send anything out to a third party. We own the publishing press. With the printing press, where our editors, our writers are in-house, everything is done right here. So if we need to stop the presses, we can run down and say, stop the printing of these books. You know,
She's a real dramatic. Like
I'm
too.
super dramatic about it. But no, it's easy to make those changes if you need us to.
Someone was asking what Randy did to promote his book on Facebook.
Yes.
If you have a microphone, can you jump on and we can have a conversation about what you did?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, Randy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Randy, how cool, Randy.
It's so cool. Yeah. Hey, so here's what I did. You guys sent me an email and you told me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually did what you said. And crazy because at first I thought people would think he took time to write a book, but instead the reaction was, that is so cool. Can I get a copy? And I had people from like a friend from Wisconsin who wants the book, who knew me from way back when.
Wow.
There was just an instant level of excitement of, wow, if Randy wrote a book, maybe we should get it.
Yeah, I love that.
That's very cool.
That's very
That
cool.
is very cool. I work with a member in New York who had friends from California contact her as soon as she posted something to her Facebook requesting a copy of her book. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal to write a book.
Yeah, it does work. I like I said, I was very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Just to answer your
First 2
question,
minutes.
we absolutely can give you our opinion on the headshots. We won't hurt your
Oh,
feelings.
really? You had to read that now when I'm on?
We won't hurt your feelings. No way, no how.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We'll give you our honest opinion. Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank
Great
you.
talking to you guys.
Thank
You too.
you. You too.
Anna, what if your honest opinion hurts his feelings? How do you handle that?
I will probably introduce him to
I
a
have
different
thick skin. I'm not too worried.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Great.
No,
Sure.
I'll be honest. I promise.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It won't hurt
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Randy, for
You're welcome. My
Joe,
pleasure.
I'm hoping you can answer this question for Richard Brown. He's one of my members, and he's asked me this question too, and said that he would pop on the webinar today to ask the question again. And I don't know the answer to that, but you might. His question is it in the works to add a Facebook pixel to our landing page for retargeting?
Right now, probably not. I'm going to talk to our programmers. They're really busy to see if it's something we can add in there. I'm going to take his name down here. I started this conversation with our programmer last week,
Okay.
and I will continue with that to see if we can figure something out or a workaround for agents who are really doing high volume on Facebook.
Okay. And then Frank Lopez. Hi, Frank. That's one of my members. So we actually just talked right before this through email. He's asking, once I pick out the book that I want to send to my sphere, can I send in my mailing list and you send them out? We actually just heard this morning that is something that we're working on offering our members. Currently, we do not have a program like that outside of the Do It For You, which Frank, I think you and I have talked about, but the Done For You, campaign, but not with the Authorify or the Smart Agents platform right now. It is something we're working on, and of course, you will all know as soon as that goes live, if that goes live. So for now, no, we can provide you with, scripts and cover letters and things like that we can work on together to create for your packet that you send out, but we do not have that for the books available right now. We do for the postcards, where you can either upload an Excel spreadsheet with a mailing list, or choose based on a certain zip code or area that you want to farm, and then we can send postcards out, like direct mail, but not for the books yet.
Mm-hmm.
If you'll notice, there's a lot of things that we're building into this, because it's one thing to have a printed book. It's another thing to have a printed postcard, have all these other printed things, and have it convenient where you can click a button and we send it out for you. And once we got our print presses set up, once we got everything set up in-house, we're starting to add these things on, and then also add on to the software as well. So you could go into your Authorify membership and you could choose what postcards you want to mail out, how often and where, see the design, click a button, and forget about it, and then we take care of it. We mail them out. All you have to do is answer the calls coming in and then follow up. So you'll notice a lot of this is getting in place. It's things that we've worked on last year, but more under the hood, the mechanics of it. Now we're starting to roll them out, and like anything, there's hiccups along the way, and there's room for improvement. So we're working our hardest to keep it as smooth as possible and add anything on that will help you guys.
Here's a good question for you, Joe, from Hermit Damani. I prospect FSBOs. How do I use the books to approach FSBOs? I do not do expireds, and I am a newer agent.
I love the FSBO niche for a new agent as well. If you can have conversations with people, and if you can be courteous and smile, perfect niche. Now, a lot of rejection from agents say, why would you hand a FSBO a guide how to sell their home? Here's the thing. Once they look through this and they realize all the steps it takes to sell a home, now you're shoulder to shoulder with them. You're side by side. You're on their side. They see where they're going and they see the obstacles. They need you as a guide. So when you approach FSBOs, whether you're knocking on the door, doing a drop by, I always love to lead with my book. When I first started using the book, I would kind of hold it back. I would get in there, I would talk to them, and the conversation would go where they were interviewing me and questioning me. Then I noticed the sooner they got the book, whether I mailed it or whether I handed it to them as soon as I came in the door, it changed the dynamic of the conversation, and now we were getting down to their fears, their wants, their needs, their desires, and I was able to have a conversation with them. But here's the part that I let down when I first started is the follow-up. FSBOs are going to take a little bit longer to convert depending on where they're at in the process, so they need more follow-up. You need to stop by, you need to get their email, text them, and I wouldn't bombard them. So here's how I would do it. Maybe I call up a FSBO and find out if they will co-op with me and explain what that is. That was usually my initial conversation. Then I would stop by and I'd give them a book. And when I gave them a book, I would tour the house, talk about the house. And then when I left, I would text them saying, hey, thanks for your time. I enjoyed meeting you, and something personal. So now I've called them, dropped by, and texted them. Now the next phone call, I would offer something of value. Hey, I wanted to share some information about a home that just went on the market similar to yours. Can I share this with you? Of course, they're going to say yes. And then I would say, great, what's the email I can send it to? So now I have their email. So I have their phone number, I've dropped by, I've texted them, and I can email them. Now, every time I follow up, I'm going to use one or more of those avenues, and I always want to bring something of value, a new piece of information, something that I thought about that could help them. And I'm going to do that by text if they don't answer. Email, I can see when they open the email, how many times they open it. I can follow up on that email with a phone call. Hey, what did you think about the information I emailed over to you? So there's so many ways to build conversations, and with FSBOs, it's really important because you have a longer process that you need to follow up with them. And if you have the same message every time, when are you going to hire an agent? When are you going to hire an agent? When are you going to hire an agent? They're going to just build up resentment pretty much towards you because they've been beat up. Have agents tell them that they're stupid for trying to sell their home themselves. They don't need that. This is a perfect opportunity to come alongside of them. And when I first started FSBOs, I was a new agent. And I would let people know, hey, I am a new agent. And here's why I went into real estate. Here's why I believe that I can sell more houses, do a better job than other agents, because I've seen the problems firsthand. And now I'm here to address them and do things differently. So hope that helps.
Yeah, Randy has some feedback about FSBOs too. About 70% have never sold a property and have no idea what they're doing. Most will figure out the process is not easy and eventually give up. The other 30% does have a long pipeline curve, but some will give up. Mm-hmm. I tried selling my very first condo by myself. It did not take me long to realize that I could not do it by myself. Just when I started to think about just staging my home, that alone scared me half to death to do it on my own. I very quickly reached out and hired an agent that made themselves available to me just by simply offering the education piece with it. It was a friend of mine. Turns out I needed them a lot more than I thought I did. Most
I didn't catch that.
Do.
Voices in my head, or is that on your side?
That was us. No big deal.
Oh, Siri?
Yeah.
Just making sure Siri's paying
the best.
attention. Yeah.
Siri's the best. What a good friend.
Yeah, she is the best friend. Sharon asks, do you have a CRM or system you suggest to keep your lead follow-up organized? We do provide, we have some sheets that we can provide you to kind of keep, your calls and your follow-up organized. Joe, you may know better as far as like CRMs that are available out there for them to keep their leads organized. But from our standpoint, we do have some tools that we can offer you to kind of keep your follow-up organized, and we can make sure to send that to you. So we'll make sure to send that to you, Sharon, if you don't have it. But Joe, maybe you can add a little bit to that as far as CRMs go.
As far as CRMs go, it's like paralyzing to see how many options there are, and there's bells and whistles, and they get really complicated. A low-end CRM is probably going to be the best, or if your brokerage has one, because to manage follow-up, all you need is reminders. All you need is to see where the last conversation led off, so you can continue that conversation. So you're not starting a new conversation every time. In follow-up, you want to continue a conversation, continue to build trust and rapport. So as far as the CRM, maybe talk with your broker, see what they use. I would start with something basic. I think it's Zoho has $10 a month. Something basic, something simple, and then build from there. And I was at the convention in San Francisco, and I was talking to a lot of the CRM providers, and I was surprised how many options there were on their CRMs. And even I think it's Keller Williams' new CRM. They said they made the mistake of putting too much on it, and now people weren't using it.
Yeah.
Simplicity is a lot of times the best friend when we're dealing with follow-up and processes.
Right. And then there's some suggestions. Follow-up Boss is fairly easy to use from Kristen. I use Reality Juggler. They give you 90-day free trial from Hermont.
Yes, there's a lot of them out there, and it's more than how many options you can get out of one. It's what fits your style, and what helps you where your weaknesses are, which mine is following up, and so I need reminders. And so that's usually the only thing I use a CRM for is reminders.
Facebook Pixel or FSBOs up. You can get more solar leads, both must-haves. Okay. You guys are all helping each other out. I love it.
Hi, John. That's my member.
That is your member.
Yeah, but I would say with follow-up or Facebook Pixels or any of these things, keep them simple and then write down, keep track of what you did so you can see what worked and didn't work. Because a lot of times as agents, we're picking up the new shiny thing and we're running with it, and then we're abandoning what we started. Yeah. And maybe if it didn't work at the moment, there was a part of it that didn't work, and if that would have been fixed, it would have continued to work. So it goes back to consistency. To consistently improve a process, you have to have a process. And so I would encourage, whether it's CRM, follow-up, Facebook ads, whatever you're doing, do it long enough and spread it out enough to where you can see how you can improve it. Because even I was talking to a member who started a big Facebook campaign, and he was depressed at the end of it. He said, I dropped everything and did this, and it didn't work out because I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. So it's about staying focused and consistency. Whether you're like Kristen and you have these in your car, in your purse, or you're dropping them off door to door, or you're setting them out in your town, or you get really brave and you go do a shout out at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
If any of you agents do that on here, any of our members, please let me know. I will send you a $20 gift card for the first agent who goes and does a shout out with their book in a local business and sends it to me.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. The $20 gift card for me is going to be nothing. That's not the big gift. The big gift is the result you're going to get for doing just what Randy said. Just go do it. Start a conversation and give a book out. So do it. You can do a shout out on Facebook before you have books. And then you can, once you get your books in, go to the coffee shop, do a shout out. I think Randy will do that. He's a brave one. So Randy, let's get your books in. And so you can send one to your friend in Wisconsin, I think it was. And do a shout out in person. Challenge accepted. But I don't have my books yet. This is just another reason to get your books. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll up the ante. For the next 8 member on here who does it, the first one, I will send you 20 free books of your choice.
All right.
20 free books in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first agent who goes and does a shout out at any local business. And what you want to do is give them a reason to go to that business. So maybe it's a cup of coffee. Buy 5 cups of coffee and say, when you come in here, get a free copy of my book, get a free cup of coffee. Or it's a donut shop, whatever it is, a morning donut shop. So I'd be happy to send out 20 books for whoever does that and sends me the video.
Ooh, I like it.
I will definitely do it. All right, Randy. Let me get you them books.
Me. He said, me, pick me. It is a great idea.
When you start doing something, like maybe it's something as simple as I just talked about, if you put it on your schedule, like I'm going to do this once a month. I'm going to do this every 60 days. Whatever it is, don't overwhelm yourself and say, I'm going to do this every day for a year. Start small and build on it because you'll build habits. And at the end, if you did this once a week for a year, you would have 52 businesses that you've built into your sphere and you've adopted their sphere. Because with Facebook, it's so easy to adopt someone else's sphere of influence because you can get them to share the video and then drive traffic back to your page and like your page as well. And also, it's going to help your Facebook page rank if other people are sharing your posts. And so now you would have potentially 52 people who shared your videos, 52 videos out all over your community, and 52 businesses that you've adopted their sphere. I think you could end a year with 5,000 people in your sphere of influence, at least on Facebook, and 52 branding people out there preaching your message, giving away your Bible.
The way that our program is designed is to work. It's not a get rich quick scheme or anything like that. It's calculated in a way to where you will receive results if you do it the way that it's intended to be used. So 20 books a month is what we recommend. And handing it out on a consistent basis, whether you're handing it out in person, digitally, and how you're marketing it. Consistency is key. That is what works. You can't expect to hand out 20 books and then wait and start to see the listings coming in. That's not the way. It's not going to work that way. It's consistency. It might. Yeah, it might. But our statistics show that it's consistent. Being consistent, 20 a month or more is how you're going to start to see results. Sure.
Sarah had mentioned that she had given a book out at a coffee shop. I added you on here. I don't know if you have a microphone that you could jump on and tell us what you did, how it went. If I read that right on the chat box.
Sarah Doyle.
Sarah Doyle.
Hi, Randy.
Bye, Randy.
Paging Sarah Doyle. Do you have a microphone? Okay. Well, we'll see if she pops up on the microphone. Okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to anyone who will go do a shout out and build this into their book.
No mic.
No mic. Okay, Sarah. So Sarah, did you offer your book out at a coffee shop? Maybe you can just answer that in the chat box. Okay, we'll wait for her to respond. But yeah, that's what these events are about, offering out ideas, what's working for agents. And what surprises me is many times it's not these expensive, lavish ideas like a $5,000 a month, Facebook campaign. It's small things done consistently over time that get you the result you want. I know we hear it. We hear it at the gym. We hear it, with health issues, but it's true. And so instead of making it painful, we're going to have pain sometimes, right? The pain is when we force ourselves to do something that we don't feel like doing, but we know we need to do. That's manageable pain for me. What's unmanageable pain and overwhelming is when we have big failures because we didn't go into the hospital and get that wound checked out. Now it's gangrene and you're losing a leg, right? That's real grim. But it's doing those small things over time in business that are going to get you to where you want to go, instead of trying to look for one thing that's going to be a magic pill. Unless you do what Carrie does and just go out and land listings with a book.
With a book. Easy.
With a book. Look at that. She's like, no problem.
Yeah.
Carrie's extra special, and so she can do that. Let's see. We got a question here. Joe. He hates door knocking. His time door knocking. So I applaud people who have the guts to knock on doors and pitch their services. It's not my thing. Aside from door knocking on doors of expireds, and aside from knocking on doors, let me see. Prospecting traditional listings. What do you recommend? Okay, so I was reading that really jumbly. Joe doesn't like knocking on doors. Joe doesn't like knocking on any door. It's a waste of time for him. He wants a more effective way to reach expireds. Now, what I would recommend is finding the right phone number. RedX, a lot of these platforms are just giving out old numbers. I was talking to an agent the other day, and he's like, I'm calling dead people that own the house 100 years ago, and they're not answering. He had the wrong number. So maybe spending more money on getting the right numbers, and then once you mail out the book, if you're going to mail it, you're not going to drop it by, put a whole package together. Mm-hmm. Put a whole package together, mail it out, follow up with a phone call. Don't follow up with a phone call and talk about, hey, when are you going to hire a professional? Talk about the book you mailed them. If they don't answer, send them a text. If you're going to pay a little bit of money for a lead, get an email. You have an email going out, a text going out, a phone call going out, a package at their door. I think you're going to get their attention. And you have to do that consistently. Can't be hit or miss. It has to be consistent. And then I think you would get a much better conversion rate if you're not going to go knock on someone's door. But I did it. I mailed those out, had that process going. And then if there was a couple here or there that I could not get a hold of, I would go knock on the door and just force myself to do it. And one time I walked into a guy's yard. He was closing his garage, and the other agent still hadn't pulled the sign out of the yard. Started up a conversation and walked inside and signed the listing. So it's hit or miss, but you don't know unless you try.
I love Phil's comment on here. So random, like you never would have thought it. He said, I actually left about 10 books at a hospital as my wife was going through chemo treatments. I left some buyer and seller books. I received a call on Friday from the hospital that one of the managers saw the book. They called to see if I'd be interested in talking to a new surgeon that they're recruiting from Tennessee that's flying in on Wednesday. I called the surgeon and have an appointment on Thursday. I dropped these books off at a cancer center 2 years ago. The books go a long way.
You do.
I love it. I have an agent who has a routine. Again, consistency is key. They have a membership that has them on a 20 books per month membership. Mm-hmm. The day they receive their 20 books, they put together a small package with cover letter, and then they drop off 10 of those to a mortgage broker that they partner with, that they bring buyers to. Obviously this works for the mortgage broker too, because you're bringing them sales. They partner with a mortgage broker. They drop off 10 of those books with a nice little presentation at the mortgage office. That mortgage broker hands out those books as they see fit, and they receive a lot of leads that way. The other 10 they use as a business card, and they hand it out to local coffee shops, nail salons, doctor's offices, dentist offices. Just like Phil said, you never know how far it's going to go. I mean, he would have never thunk it. Yeah. Leaving it at a hospital, wow, that's amazing.
Anywhere with the waiting room.
It's amazing.
And using your connections. I have a guy who he made friends with a painter and gave his book to the painter who he ended up getting over a $500,000 listing from, because that painter, ended up painting a house for somebody, passed along the book, and just by word of mouth, just by him passing that along, he got the listing. And it was maybe 3 months after he had met him. So, between 3 months, 2 years, it could be any amount of time, but
it's amazing.
that's just how it go.
And you can add a section in your book as well, maybe at the beginning or the end, with preferred vendors. Team up with a painter, with a home inspector, a mortgage, home insurance. There's so many people that you can connect with, and then you put them in your book. Maybe they pay for part of your book, and then you give them some of your books as well. So as they're out, they're passing your books around. You're giving them business. It's just a cycle that repeats itself and will really help you build your sphere of influence and get listings.
Absolutely. For a new agent, Hermont, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Hermont, for a new agent, what's the best way to use the books to get quick listings? What niche, what approach? Send books first, then follow up with a phone call, or the other way around? What is your suggestion? So many questions and so many answers.
It depends on your strength again. So you don't mind door knocking if you're better in person and maybe you don't sound as confident on the phone, then I would go do door knocking. If you're a social networker, I would hit whatever social connections you have and start networking, start passing out your book to your sphere. It really depends on your strength, but the fastest way that you can get in front of people face to face, that's going to be the fastest way to get listings. And so if the agents are struggling and they say, Joe, I need listings now, I'll do anything, I just got to get some traction so I can think straight. I've been there. I know how that feels. I would go out and do boots on the ground just because it would clear my head. I would do my calls in the morning, sphere of influence a little bit, and then after lunch, I would spend a good portion of the day working in and out of a coffee shop and then popping through neighborhoods and do door knocking. Now, with door knocking, if someone didn't answer the door, I always want to leave a Post-it note. And if I see someone else in the neighborhood out in their yard, I'm over there, I'm talking to them, and I'm getting information. So I hope that answers your question as a new agent. Looks like, what's this? Oh, Joe here.
Has another question.
Beautiful name, by the way.
If I want to target original homeowners in high-end neighborhoods, those folks who are probably empty nesters or elderly and who might need to sell, then how do I find a list of individuals who are original homeowners? Any suggestions?
Well, with your public records, you can see usually if how long they've owned the home, if that home is homesteaded. If I had a neighborhood like that, I would pull a list. You can easily get it from your public information. I would always drag it over to an Excel, sort it out, and then I would mail out a letter kind of talking about what they may be thinking. Have you ever thought of downsizing? And then have a letter, and then on the letter, offer out the book. And a lot of times you could drive them to your author website. You could say, hey, text book to this number, and it just pops up in your phone. And or give me a call or email. So you want to approach them with what they may be thinking, offer out your book, and then give them at least 3 ways to respond to get your book. And then maybe you have 1,000 letters going out, and you have a 10% response rate. So you have 100 that respond, then you send out 100 books. Those might be, I know you don't want to do door knocking, but if I can't get a hold of someone, they requested a book, I'm going to go knock on a door. Or another agent, he had his assistant physically drop off the book if he couldn't. And his assistant had a couple questions that he would ask, and then it would give him more information than just over the phone. So hopefully that gives you some ideas there.
Kristen has a good suggestion. You can get that info from your title company. They can run a report for everyone that's been in a home for, say, 10 plus years and provide their CTC info.
Great.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Kristen. I've talked to a lot of agents who get it from their title company. There's a lot of ways to get these lists. I think you want to kind of think in the shoes of the homeowner. If it's a big neighborhood, maybe they're looking to downsize. If it's by a school, that's usually going to be the situation. If they're a certain age, they have a larger home, their kids are probably gone, and they're thinking, hey, we might want to downsize instead of patching the roof and painting the house and doing all these things that I didn't want to do when I'm retired.
Right. Desiree asks, and this is actually, there's somebody else asked a similar question. I think we skipped. I have a wedding showcase, bridal show, and want to make a similar type of book. Where can I make one like this? And then I think a previous member asked about if we have books available for newlyweds.
Well, this would be a good book, first-time home buyer. A lot of times if people are getting married, they're going to buy a home for the first time. And what you could also do is even build a package for newlyweds.
Yeah.
So it could have a letter in it. It could have a cover letter. We have a lot of templates in your member section. Customize it. And then you could even make it more of a wedding type gift and make it look like a gift, a package. So when they get it, they open it up and it's a book that they set on their table, their coffee table, and eventually they call you, or maybe they're thinking of buying sooner after a wedding.
Yeah, and maybe you can gather, because I'm sure if it's an expo, then or a bridal show, there's probably other vendors there. If you can agree to promote a couple different vendors, maybe they can provide some coupons and things like that you can include in the package. You can give them a book as well to hand out for you. You could be think outside the box a little bit and put something really fun together to where the book itself may not be directly targeting newlyweds, but everything surrounding it is. Make one like this. Welchers may have a house that needs to be sold too because it's a second marriage. Oh, I see what you're saying. May have a house that needs to be sold too because it's a second marriage. Got it. Okay. I read that wrong.
Yeah. If there's someone that they're usually going to buy or sell a lot of times after they get married. And so it's a perfect opportunity. And just what Atlanta was saying there, collaborate with other vendors as well. You could probably build something that would be a nice gift to people looking to get married, and that is going to have newlywed information in, or how to plan a wedding. That's a huge journey a lot of people take. They don't not everybody elopes. They plan out a wedding, and so they're researching. Right. And if you can gather information about planning a wedding and include your book in it, whatever book you have, I think it would be a great gift to give out at an expo.
Desiree, how quickly can I create it on your website and get it printed? Showcases on February 28th. As soon as you publish, it's about 7 to 10 days before you receive your books. We will call you. I have your name down. That way we can maybe try and expedite that for you a little bit. But yeah, if it's February 28th, we have plenty of time to get some books over to you so you can use it at your bridal show.
And John, hi, John. I'll get in touch with you because we do have a foreclosure book. So we'll get in touch after I finish up here, and I'll make sure that you have that access to that.
Well, we were having so much fun, so many questions that we are in overtime right now. 4 minutes over. That's not a big deal. Trying to make sure we get all of your questions answered. So thanks for everyone for showing up. If you do have any questions that pop up when you jump off here, you think, darn, I should ask that, send us a message. Reach out to Lana, Carrie, or myself and ask us. We're here. We're available. And then obviously every Tuesday we will be here alive and well collaborating with all of our members.
God willing. Do you mind answering a quick question, Joe, before we go? I know it was already asked once before, and I think we skipped it. Carol just asked it again, and Sharon asked it as well. If I have the same,
since there's no
exclusive territory, right? And there's other agents ordering and offering the same book in my area, how do you combat that if that comes up? The chances of you and another agent working in the same niche, offering the same book,
the same book cover,
the book cover, book content, I have yet to see that happen. Mm-hmm. So that is, unless you know for sure that there's an agent in your area that's offering the same, that's also a member, if you know that for a fact. But if you don't know, that's a hard one to come by. Joe, what do you think?
So here's the thing. Customize your book to make it your own. Your bio, your foreword, maybe some vendors that you work with. You can customize a cover. Have it be a picture of something that you have. Customize. The more you customize it, it becomes your book. And then the biggest part is having the confidence to go hand it out and use it and feel comfortable. So I would encourage you to customize it to you, and then it becomes your book. If I go to the library right now, if I go to my bookshelf, I have a bookshelf with probably 1,000 or 2 books on it. I think I'm at 2,000 now. Some of the books have a lot of the same information. It's just the way the world works. And so, having the same information that another agent has, I sell homes. I use the same process to sell a home. And so that's what I put together in my book. I'm part of the organization that writes the book just like the other agent. So even if it came up in an attack, in a negative way, it would be pretty easy to diffuse the situation because you're part of an organization of writers and you license the content. It's really that simple. But I like Lana says, I have yet to see that.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
a mind game.
Especially now that we've launched the app update where you can customize even the manuscript. So a lot of agents are doing just that, adding their touches into all parts of the book.
And then it's the actions that you're taking along with handing out the book. I mean, that sets you apart and makes you different. It's not always about like the content of the book. Like that's great. It brings up some kind of talk track and it's something interesting to talk about, but it's everything else and how you handle everything else. So how are you handling the follow-up? How are you setting yourself apart from every other agent who hammers somebody because their property's expired? I mean, there's a big difference in your follow-up and your actions that you're taking versus the other agents. So just set yourself apart, be different.
Yeah, it's really pretty simple. So thank you everyone for joining. I brought my dog to work today. This is Toby.
You're killing me. I can't even look. I just can't.
Toby.
In my heart.
I'm in my chair the whole time. Yeah, we do have fun here as well. So, thank you everyone for showing up, and we'll see everyone.
Like everybody's like, oh,
I know. It's like, why did you do this to me? Stop. He's perfect.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody. You too. We've got a nice list of people, so we'll call everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.